I have loved Starfield since the second its sweet early access juices graced my lips on September 1st of 2023. Since that date, I've watched the world of Starfield burn to smithereens, and I've seen many urinate on its ashes, but I stood by the game. Now, I understand why some don't like it, but to this day, I think that it is a game that people were determined to hate before it even came out. I'm speaking about the masses here, by the way. I understand if you personally don't love the game, or if it's just not your cup of tea, but it seems like the public opinion of Starfield was just negative to begin with, and a lot of people with a platform just decided to dislike the game before it was even out. Sometimes that happens, man. Negativity breeds views. But that's not what today's video is about. Today, I want to ask you a question. Do you think that Starfield is going to make a comeback? They are making a massive, gigantic, boner-inducing size step in the right direction with this update, which is what made me think about this. I'm actually extremely excited about this update for a number of reasons, and I'll tell you guys why I think the game is about to make a massive comeback. But first, I want to go over the specifics of the update, and then I want to hear your opinions afterwards. There are some big and honestly really impressive changes here. Obviously, there's a bunch of big ones I'm sure you've already heard about. There's difficulty sliders, so you now have complete customization over your game entirely, which is pretty amazing. You can change the cargo hold distance, you can increase your carry weight, you could change ground combat versus ship combat difficulty, you can increase vendor credits, which literally bricked me up the second that I laid eyes on it. I have wondered since the beginning of time why Bethesda makes their vendors so fucking broke. Every time I try to sell something in their damn games, it's like I'm in the slums trying to pawn off gold. No one has shit to their name, and it pisses me off. They added a feature where you can design the interior of your ship, which is fantastic. I cannot wait to try this out. They give you an option to add empty habs too instead of pre-filled habs, so you can fully customize every aspect of the interior of your ship. My personal favorite thing in this update, though, is the entire map overhaul. The maps in this game, they were downright abysmal. I'm talking genuine dog water. I'm probably Starfield's #1 fan, and even I hated the maps upon release. But with the update, it makes it so much better. The visibility is night and day different. You can actually see where you're going now. Finding certain objectives just got far easier. They also added a lot of other quality of life features that are very nice, like labeling what inventory you're looking at a lot more clearly, some performance updates for Xbox consoles, and just some other minor things. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering why this wasn't just available on launch, and to be honest, that is a great question. I don't know why half of this wasn't a feature on launch. The fact that the original map design was greenlit and cleared, and no one batted an eye at the monstrosity that it was, is a war crime in 32 different countries. I don't know why these things weren't available on launch, but it's nice that they're adding it now. It's great to see that Bethesda's sticking with this game, because truly, no matter how bad the launch, Bethesda knows how to stick with its games until it's really good. Look at Fallout 76, for example, man. They've done wonders with that game. A lot of you are probably slapping your keyboards with your fat little thumbs in the comments as we speak, coming at me for defending a company for adding features that should have been in the game at launch. But honestly, the reason why I'm defending them is because Bethesda launched a good product on day one. Half of the games we've seen in the last 5 years have been so bad on launch that the devs should have been shot on sight. But the reason I defend Starfield is because that was not the case at all. It has its issues, but you cannot say that Starfield does not work. The game works, and the product is a good one. So with that being said, I will give them kudos for releasing this update and really sticking with the game. Of course, and they also revealed that they are adding land vehicles. This is by far the biggest news from the video that Bethesda released. They have never had drivable vehicles in a game before, and considering that one of the largest complaints about Starfield is that you don't have vehicles when you land on planets, I would say it's the perfect feature to add. It's a really valid argument, you know, most of the planets are dull and barren, so exploring them definitely takes time when you're walking, so much time that it's almost not worth exploring them at all. So when these vehicles are added, it'll make it so much better to explore because it won't take 9 hours to walk to the same abandoned outpost. I'm mainly stoked about this update because it's breathing some life back into the game. The launch was so undeservingly bad in my opinion. Like I already mentioned, the game that we got day one was a good game. So many people just got wrapped up in the wrong thing and just couldn't let it go. There are a lot of really empty fucking planets in the game, that's a fact. But Todd literally said months before the release that there would be. He said bar for bar that only 10% of the planets would be habitable and the rest would be barren. So when the game launched, everyone set out to explore these barren planets, and then their dicks got all bunched up in a knot because these barren planets were barren. Like, just don't explore the barren ones. You're going to see the same outpost you've seen 100 times in the same lifeless caves. Yeah, it's stupid that that's the case, but just don't explore them. The majority of people saying that they hated the game complained about shit like this. The planets that are handcrafted that they actually spent their time on have an abundant amount of things to do and see on them. The beauty of this game is that you don't have to explore the barren planets. Follow the quest lines and the side quest, explore the more lively planets, and just leave the rest alone. I feel like on launch, all of these chromosomes just put the game down after 5 minutes because there was too many bare planets. Just don't explore them, home slice. People missed out on amazing quest lines and a great story experience because they were hyper focused on an aspect of the game that you can just simply ignore. It's bizarre to me. To this day, I don't understand it. On the other hand, there are people that had really valid arguments, like loading screens breaking the immersion, so they just stopped caring, or the main story was just boring to them, or that the companions complained every damn time you did something slightly immoral. Those are valid complaints, and the people saying that don't even really say that they hate the game. They just say that it's not for them. I won't elaborate too much on the Starfield hate because everyone's different and you're all entitled to your own opinion. I just saw an abundance of people say the same thing about the barren planets, and that's just my take on it. The point is, this update will drive people back to the game, and that's a really good thing because people have managed expectations now. Coming back to the game after the disaster that was the launch with a more open mind is the best thing that can happen for Starfield. If people would actually play it instead of play it to nitpick at it and complain, they just might be surprised with how much they enjoy it. So, on the horizon, we have this new update adding a lot of quality of life features and ship customization options. Then in the future, we have land vehicles, and who knows what else will come along with that update. And then, of course, we have the Shattered Space DLC, which is already confirmed to be a House Varun story, which we are all desperately curious about, so that's really good. They also said that it is, and I quote, massive.
Obviously, we're working on more quests and the massive Shattered Space expansion.
So that could be really good. They are definitely taking their time with Shattered Space, so I'm hoping that it's good. The update roadmap, in my opinion, will drive more people back to the game with an open mind, and hopefully they'll end up enjoying it the second time around. And thus, it will cause a pretty big comeback right before the Shattered Space DLC drops. That's what I'm thinking. But what do I know? I'm on the spectrum, don't listen to me. Basically, this update is cool. It adds a lot to Starfield. My boner meter started to beep a lot when Bethesda dropped their video on it, and then the boner meter broke entirely when they announced land vehicles. I'm really optimistic about the future of the game, but let me know what you think in the comments below. I genuinely am curious. Don't forget, I'm live 4 times a week every Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, so make sure to join, and I'll see you guys next time.